Hello YouTube, this is Bill from Little White Dory, and I've been tagged in a fellow YouTuber's channel, or on their channel, and it is, I think, 5 questions about why I grow things. And I figured I could explain myself in 5, I think, questions. So here, for people who have seen my videos before, this is just basically my backyard. Along the fence here, this summer I plan on planting a lot of vegetables in between roses, arborvitaes. There's lilacs over here. So just stuff that I can get in here vegetable-wise. Grass is going to be used for feeding chickens in a mobile chicken tractor, hopefully. This garden over here, my triangle garden, is still a work in progress. Not sure exactly. I'm thinking herb garden. This is my trailer that the chicken coop tractor greenhouse contraption fits on. Some toys. My little cottage. So back here, when I purchased this property 25 years ago, I bought one big, huge, grassy filled yard with no features. I had one tree somewhere out over here, and it was just a scrub oak. Back here I had created a 16 by 16 raised bed garden, and the remnants of it are somewhere back here. You'll see there's a spigot or a sprinkler. So that was one end of the garden. The other end was over here. There's another spigot. So 16 feet in total was my old garden. To accommodate chickens, and after lots of landscaping changes, I've got these 5 chickens. It's Luna right here in the front, my black Australarp. Behind her to the right is Chica, a Rhode Island Red. Under the lattice is, with a white tail, a white leghorn in Zippy. And just coming out from behind there is a comet named Haley. And somewhere, hopefully, it would be nice if she's in a nesting box, is Sydney. So a quick look in here. Yeah, I'm not seeing her in here, so there's a very good chance that Sydney is up in a nesting box. I noticed her sitting, looking to get into one yesterday. So, I'm going to start my 5 questions. I hope I get this right. So, question number 1, Miss Lally is the person who, essentially called me out on this. And I think it's a fun 5 questions. So the first one is, why do I grow? It started probably as a kid. We always had a family garden, and tomatoes were a precious commodity. So fresh tomato from the garden was always gold. We had fruit trees too in the yard as kids. But then, going to college, go on for years, I finally have a property that I own. I build that 16 by 16 garden, and I start growing stuff, not because of any particular reason, just because it's kind of cool. Throw some seeds in the ground, add some water, add some time, come back. And I never really did any tending to the garden. At the beginning of the season, I would turn everything over, throw my seeds in, and they'd compete with the seeds that were already there, the weeds or whatever. Some things survived, some things didn't. The years I had just boatloads of things like cucumbers, so I bring them to work and give them away. And I think the irony is that at one point I worked as a controller for a food wholesaler, and I used to joke that I gave away more food at work than the owners of the company ever gave the company employees. So I enjoyed putting smiles on people's faces by just giving them a fresh, piece of vegetable from the garden, whether it's tomato, cucumber. Sometimes I would plant strange things like gagoots, or I forget the name of the purple string beans that when you cook them they turn green. So you tell your kids that they're magic. They get, you know, a kick out of that. But it's just, I think, for the fun of being able to give things away. I enjoy it. Putting smiles on people's faces is kind of priceless, so I do that. Why YouTube? Me, you know, I'm a tech kind of guy, and I wanted to play around with just YouTube channels, figure them out to a small extent, so I needed material. And so I just started filming stupid things like my chickens, and people will start watching, and so I kept, you know, kind of catering to what people would ask for. It's just sort of a way to express yourself, and if there's something I can do to show somebody something how to do it, you know, some little tidbit that I know, I go for it. A lot of what I've learned through videos from Al Lumna, John Siskovich, Richard Perkins. You know, there's tons and tons of people out there with all kinds of different systems that are fun to just replicate and see if you can get it to work, whether it makes it better or makes it worse. So it's a tech side of me that gets me involved in the YouTube. 3 is, how long have you been growing? Well, I kind of answered that. I've had this house now for 24 years, so I've had a garden here for 24. And other than, you know, a kid at home, my folks, it was like a big gap. So 24 years. I actually went up to school in an agricultural town, and we had a lot of ag tech and agronomic majors. So, number 4, what do you grow? Well, I'll try anything. My concentration this year is really going to be to get things growing that my chickens will eat, so that whatever I have that is excess, I can just pile it someplace and let them have it, especially going into the fall. I'm going to try to get them out on the grass a little bit more this summer. So tomatoes, peppers, beans, lettuces, collards, kale, herbs. I go for basil, rosemary, thyme, all the usual stuff. I like cucumbers, so I'll do usually a couple of different kinds. My wife and I also like butternut squash for butternut squash soup. Maybe I have a video for that, I don't know, I have to look. And that's another one, it's just a butternut squash. So, I don't know, last year I grew okra. It was cool, the chickens liked it, sort of. They eventually ate it. As I'm looking right now, I see that I have the spinach and some corn salad, it's called. And it didn't go over too well with the girls because they didn't eat it all winter. But there could be reasons for that, I don't know. They're now limited to just their run, so we'll see how much more they'll appreciate greens when they get a chance to eat it. 5, what is your favorite thing to grow? Probably tomatoes, I don't know, they're just always a crowd pleaser. I know Al Lumna's got the BLT concept down pretty well. I have to admit, a good BLT is worth mentioning, and I enjoy putting the effort into getting one, so I'll go with tomatoes. All right, there you have it. Hold my other arm because this one's getting tired, and I'm going to say goodbye.